All right. It's Inauguration Day, January 20th. In just a very short time, Joe Biden will be sworn in as the next president of the United States. And, who knows what's going to happen today? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? For what it's worth, here in Reno, Nevada, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. So, it seems like a day to be thinking positive, to be happy, to rejoice. However, like even myself, I'm not, that happy about Joe Biden becoming president because I really feel that somehow he, didn't really get elected fairly. But, to me, it comes down to either he stole the election or we just have to face the fact that there's 80 million really stupid people that voted for him. But the amount of stupid people right now is, off the charts. But with Joe Biden coming into office, it's easy to be seeing doom and gloom. We got a caravan of migrants coming up from Guatemala, 10,000 people. Everybody's bum rushing the border because Joe Biden says he's going to let everybody into America. And that was part of the Democrats' scam to kind of manipulate the election anyway, just having tons of people coming into the United States and allowing them to vote, man. And, they interviewed one guy in the caravan, and they said, why are you going there? And he said, hey, it's because of Joe Biden said, everything's free. So, we're probably just weeks away from some major calamities on our border. But, I don't want to get too deep into the mire because, a lot of people are going to be happy today because, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy, her house landed on the Wicked Witch of the West, everybody was singing, ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. And, those 80 million people today are like, ding dong, Trump is out of office. And of course, they want to do even more to him. They want to put him in prison and cancel all the people who voted for Trump. So there's this really nefarious aspect to that whole thing. But what I'm going to talk about is something totally and completely different, that those of us that are walking with God, walking in faith, it's a time to be happy as heck, a time to be rejoicing, a time to be singing. And, before I put my toe into the deep end of the pool, there's a lot of people out there, Christian people, that have been predicting that Trump would be reelected, that he would get a second term, and they're saying they're talking to God. And the only thing I can tell you is when you open your mind to the Spirit of God, you're also opening your mind to the devil. So you got to be careful when the devil's talking to you. He doesn't say, I'm the devil. He kind of comes across as probably an angel, or he says he's God. And even in the Bible, the devil was talking to people. It was the devil who was talking to David saying, censor the people, count them up. And God had told David, don't do that. So, there's a lot of people as of this morning that are probably facing a lot of ridicule from others, being called false prophets. And, I don't know what to really tell them, but when you plant stakes and say, God told me this and it's going to happen, then you got to be careful. And, I'm including myself with that because, I do believe God is communicating with me. I'll tell you, I don't really hear a voice or anything, but I believe he's got my eyes open, my ears open, and my mind open, so I'm somehow tapping into the heavenly circuit. So, a couple of things on why it's a time to be just really happy is despite all the calamity and doom that is approaching America, there's a prophecy, what have been calling the Venus prophecy, and I believe it's in scriptures, but I've never really seen anybody talking about it whatsoever. So I'm kind of climbing out on my own limb when I talk about the Venus prophecy. But Jesus said, I am the morning star. And, the morning star is like a title, a position in the heavenly realm. Jesus is the head of the morning stars, but the morning stars are the heroes, the light in the darkness that break the darkness. And it's kind of like Michael is kind of a title as well. When it says Michael stood up, well, Michael is some kind of ranking in the heavenly realms. And you know what? I don't know exactly how it works, but when Michael stands up, that could be the angel Michael, but it could be any and all believers and people in the heavenly realm that are walking with God on a spiritual level that are standing up, against the devil. So anyway, scriptures, Jesus not only says he's the morning star, but then he says, I'm going to give it to you. I'm giving you, my elect, the morning star. So, my view on it, what I believe God is revealing to me is the morning stars are the tribe of Dan. And it's not a bloodline. It's spiritual, man. Just like Abraham's children, it's spiritual children. It are like the number of the sands of the ocean, they can't be counted, like the stars. It's not his actual blood lineage. It's people who are connected to Abraham through faith, But likewise with Dan, Dan, you really hear about Dan in the book of Judges, because several of people that were from the tribe of Dan spiritually were judges, guys like Gideon and Samson. They had remarkable abilities, strength, and God was with them in a mighty way. But what I'm going to tell you is the Venus prophecy, the spirit of Dan, it's not about physicalness. It's about the two-edged sword, the spirit sword, and that's what Dan will be wielding in these end times ahead of Jesus touching down back here on earth, But, in Deuteronomy, there's a couple of blessings that are given to the 12 tribes of Israel. And in Deuteronomy 33:22, and I don't know why, but anytime there's a 22 involved with something in scriptures, it's kind of like a direct connection between Jesus and whatever's going on in that verse. But Deuteronomy 33:22 is where Moses says, Dan is a lion's whelp and will leap from Bashan. And that is the Venus prophecy, the tribe of Dan. And what you'll notice is in Revelations, Dan is not listed as one of the tribes that is counted in Revelations. And that's because Dan has been selected to live and be with God on the holy Mount Zion. And it was Dan that left its inheritance in the land of Israel and marched towards Bashan. And what they did is they stopped on a Mount Ephraim, and there was this guy Micah, and they ended up taking an ephod and a priest, and there was stuff that kind of happened in there, which is kind of confusing and like what's going on there. A lot of people think Dan is, the bloodline the Antichrist will come from, and maybe that is so. But I'm saying that's the miracle of God, is perhaps out of the same bloodline or spiritual line that the Antichrist comes from, so comes forth the morning stars as well. And you know what? Maybe Lucifer originally was a morning star before he fell and was cast down. But to connect the prophecy, if you go to Psalm 68, it's talking about Jesus coming back to earth in the end times, and that we should rejoice and we should be singing to Jah, singing songs of joy to Jah. And when you get to verse 15, it says, the hill of God is as the hill of Bashan. And Bashan is east of Jordan. And east kind of symbolizes the morning star, because the sun and the morning stars rise in the east. But the hill of God is as a hill of Bashan. Psalm 68:15. Continuing, it says in Psalm 68:16, why leap ye? And who's leaping? Well, it's Dan. Dan is a lion's whelp and will leap from Bashan. But Psalm 68 verse 16 says, why leap ye? This is the hill of God. God desires to dwell in it. And that's where the spiritual tribe of Dan is, man, is their minds are open and God is dwelling in their brain, man. And just like it did to a couple of the people in the Old Testament, Gideon, Samson, and others, where God's Spirit filled them up, where they did incredible things and they directly took on the dark forces that were in the land of Israel. So shall it be in the end days. And that's where we're at, man, starting today. And, there's some important, super huge dates coming up. I'll kind of get to those in another video. But Psalm 68, why leap ye? Because Dan wants to, man. We yearn to row. We want to crash the shore of Evermore, man. So the hill, in the Hebrew, the word for hill is har. It's H22. Once again, it's that Jesus connection, but it's a short form of the mountain, Mount Zion. So, I'm going to wrap it there because this video is kind of getting long, but I'm just telling you that's where the glory of God is going to pour forth in amazing ways, man, is through the Venus prophecy, the morning stars. Dan is the adder in the path of the rider that bites the horse's heel, causing the rider to fall backwards. Well, the rider's the Antichrist, man. And that's what Dan is prophesied to do, is prior to Jesus coming, man, the rider is going to stumble and stumble and stumble. The Antichrist thinks he has an open path now, that the world is his. But you know what? That's not how it works, man. So stay tuned. 2021, 2022, some incredible, mind-blowing stuff is coming, and it's all about God touching down back on earth, man, and it's a reason to rejoice. If you're not rejoicing about it, then you're either clueless or you're not walking with God, man, so you're not going to be looking forward to that. But, Jesus says in Psalm 68, he says, that I will rescue the people from the depths of the sea. He's going to bring us out of Babylon, man. That's what it's talking about. In Revelations, the beast comes out of the sea, the ocean. Jesus, he came to rescue everybody, man. So, he doesn't quit easily, man. So the fight is far from over, man. Joe Biden may be battling for the soul of America, trying to snatch your soul. But you know what? Jesus is going to fight for your soul even harder, man. So that's the good news, man. Super good news. All right. Hey, God bless y'all. And I'll catch up with you later.